I try to keep this channel as a writing channel, um, for the most part, but that includes bad writing. And you know what? Where do we find bad writing more than anywhere else uh, around, aside from journalism? Movies. So I feel okay talking about this. I know I'm late on this train, but I watched uh, The Last Jedi last night on Disney Plus, and I don't know how to feel about it. So I'm going to talk to y'all. Um, I enjoyed the movie. I wasn't actively like riffing it while I was watching it. And I mean, it's a Star Wars movie. All you got to do is turn your brain off, and bam, you're probably going to enjoy it. But like, I didn't have, it seems, the same problem that a lot of people had. The character that everybody bitched about, Rose. I liked her. She was the best part of the fucking movie to me. She was the most relatable character. She had heart. I believed her as a human being. I was rooting for her to for want of a better term, avenge her sister. So, like, I was okay with her. I liked her. I'm a little pissed off at the fan base for what they did to the character and the actress. Um, Having said that, the movie was incredibly disjointed. Uh, and it's a common thing in the Star Wars movies to bounce back and forth between storylines. But I'm just gonna say it. Several of these characters don't need to exist. Okay, I don't need Finn. I don't hate him. John Boyega is a good actor. Sorry if I butchered his name, but I don't need that character. You see what I'm saying? Um, I don't need him. I don't need Rey. As much as I love Daisy Ridley, as much as I actually do like that character, I feel like Rey as a character would have been better suited to a spin-off movie rather than the Skywalker nonology that we're on. Trilogies 3, 4's quadrilogy, 5's quintology, 6 the sexology, septology, octology. So yeah, nonology or nonilogy. I don't fucking know. There's 9 goddamn movies, and they're all about a Skywalker, right? The prequel trilogy is obviously the Anakin's training and the rise of Darth Vader. The original 3 movies, which are still the better quality trilogy, is ostensibly it's about Luke. The original trilogy is about Luke's training in the ways of the Jedi and facing his father and bringing balance to the Force. Ultimately, it's still about Anakin. Um, his fall and his return to the light. And then we get the sequel trilogy, which is about Rey. Like, we're seeing Rey being trained, where we still have a perfectly good other Skywalker in Ben Solo. And I think that's my main problem is I don't buy Kylo Ren as a villain. He's not intimidating. Like, with the helmet on, he looks it, but he's not. Nothing that comes out of his mouth is intimidating. It just isn't. And once again, this isn't a criticism of the actor. He's fine. I got no beef with him. It's the character. They are trying so desperately for a character with daddy issues, which I'm fine with. I'm cool if Ben Solo. Okay, here it is. I'll fix this the sequel trilogy for you, right? Okay, boom. Lose Rey. Give her her own movie. She deserves it. She's a great character. I love her. I want her to have her own spin-off movie. I'm fine with that. Lose her. She doesn't need to be here. Okay? Let us see Ben Solo's training. Let us see him gravitating towards the dark side, learning that his grandfather is not Anakin Skywalker so much as the most feared fucking Jedi hunter ever, Darth Vader. See him being seduced by the dark side. We don't even need the Supreme Leader Snoke or Snopes or Snoke. Yeah, it's Snoke. We don't need him. He's just there to show off CGI. Fuck him. We don't need him. Get rid of him. Fuck it. You know, because under Luke Skywalker, okay, here it is. The Jedi Order really doesn't exist anymore. When Luke takes over, when Luke is the Jedi Master, there is no Jedi Order unless he went to Coruscant. And I mean, they show him with the Jedi texts in The Last Jedi, and he's kind of despondent about it. You know, he sees nothing but a litany of failures in these books, and the Jedi Order is at its core incorrect about a lot of things. And that was one of the reasons, like, I know it's Legends now, but the extended universe brought us Gray Jedi, and truly that's what the Jedi Order should be shooting for, is Gray Jedi. You know, everybody's harping about balance, but what they really want, and like in the prequel trilogies, the Jedi Council is always harping on about balance. Oh, we want to bring balance to the Force. No, you don't. You want the light side to be... balance is this, where there's equal dark side and light side. What you want is, boom. You want the light way higher than the dark. And the Force wants balance. So, to me, that was one of the stupidest things that Disney has done, was to declare the extended universe Legends. Because there are things in the Legends that are useful. Gray Jedi, for instance. But anyway, the sequel trilogy should be about Ben Solo. Ben Solo's training, his fall to the dark side, kind of. You can see the conflict in his face throughout the first two movies of this sequel trilogy. I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet, so I can't vouch for that one. But he's visibly conflicted, like, and he thought, and this is, you know, again, Darth Emo here. I don't buy as a villain, because he is shaken by murdering his father. You know, he thought that would fix everything. He thought that, you know, killing Han Solo would seal his path to the dark side, and he still finds himself, you know, I can't do it. You know, he can't pull the trigger on Leia's flagship, which that opens a whole nother kettle of worms. We're gonna get to that later, so we'll put a pin in that. But we should have been privy to his tutelage under Jedi Master Skywalker more than, 27 seconds we get to see, and that's Luke debating whether or not to kill the kid. I want to see him training. I want to see Luke's mistakes. Because, honestly, the best part of The Last Jedi, other than Rose, she was awesome. I don't care what you fuckers say. She was great. The best part of The Last Jedi for me was jaded-ass Luke Skywalker. You know? Because in the original trilogy, he's like this wide-eyed farm boy, you know. Oh, I'm gonna be a Jedi. I'm gonna learn, you know, the Force. And then in the second movie, this is fucking hard, guys. And then in the third movie, we see that culminate in, you know, Return of the Jedi. He is kind of to me, in Return of the Jedi, Luke is like spitting distance of falling to the dark side. Like, all it would take was one good shove, and motherfucker's gonna start spitting Force lightning. Not that that's a bad thing. Plenty of fucking. I have played a lot of Star Wars games, and I always play as a light side. I always play light side because with Star Wars video games, there are two modes. There's light side and dark side, and by light side we mean fucking goody two shoes, Boy Scout, or with dark side, puppy strangling maniac. There is no in between in any of the games I've ever played. KOTOR was the closest. I mean, light side, you were still fucking bastion of fucking giving your money away. But they played the dark side better. If you were greedy, if you robbed people, you were stepping closer to the dark side. You didn't have to necessarily be the puppy strangling maniac that you see in, say, the Old Republic, the MMO. But I digress. These movies, the sequel trilogy should have been about Ben Solo, his fall, quote unquote, to the dark side, and his eventual redemption. I mean, you can keep Palpatine in there. I don't give a fuck, man. It's canon that this dude is a necromancer. They have a disturbing tendency to come back. I don't mind the whole Palpatine angle, or Palpatine, however you want to fucking pronounce it. I always pronounced it Palpatine. I'm pretty sure the canon says it's Palpatine. I don't give a fuck. Yes, it is Palpatine. I just watched the prequel trilogy a little while ago, which I can also fix those, but that's another video. But yeah, I really feel like Rey and Finn could have been cut. Give them their own movies. I'm fine with that. I want to explore the ramifications of a stormtrooper defecting. That would, that could make a movie of itself. Give Finn his own movie. Rey, once again, she could have easily been replaced by Kyle Katarn or Jaden Core. Or Mara Jade, even, for Christ's sake. Why do we not have Mara Jade? One of the fucking... I don't know that much about Mara Jade. I didn't read any of the books or really much in the way of the extended universe after the fall of the Empire. My interest has always been pre-Empire, Knights of the Old Republic 2, the MMO. I prefer that to anything that happened after Return of the Jedi, because I've always found the Jedi Order the more compelling bit of things. And the Jedi Order that we see in the prequel trilogies is not the same Jedi Order that you see a lot in, like, KOTOR. They seemed to turn they didn't really give a fuck if, like, I don't know, it just feels different than the corrupt Jedi in the prequel trilogy. So, all in all, I enjoyed The Last Jedi, but I feel like we're focusing on the wrong character. I don't like Rey as the main in this trilogy. I would prefer her, like, we could have had a movie, about her while, like, 10 years ago, even, or, 5 years in the future, because, like, ultimately, if the sequels played out the way they should have, if they had followed, the fucking Skywalker, this is the Skywalker saga, guys. If they followed the Skywalker and we let Ben go through the same kind of... Okay, I mentioned KOTOR earlier. We have the same kind of character in KOTOR that we do here when Ben Solo. And I'm not talking about Revan. I'm talking about Juhani. Juhani is a Cathar that you meet on Dantooine. She believes that she has fallen to the dark side, right? She struck down her master in anger. She thinks she killed her, but so she's sitting in a fucking grove, reveling in her dark power. You, player character, as Revan, former fallen Jedi, but you don't know that right then. You go in there, and if you're playing light side or not douchey like I do, you whip her ass in the scripted fight. And you have to fight her, as far as I know. I've never been able to talk her down from that initial fight. You have to fight her, but she realizes you're really fucking strong. Like, you are stronger than her in her darkness. She even points that out. You beat me even in my darkness. And I don't know if that's a specific line because I'm generally light side of the force right then, because the powers are better. You get heal on the light side. You do not get that from the dark side. You get drain, and it's okay. Especially at higher levels, you can just hit drain and fucking kill an entire room. But whatever. I like Cure. I like Force Speed. I like Force Valor, Force Aura. I like the light side powers. When I was a kid, I did not. When I first played it, I was a much bigger fan of the dark side powers. But as I have gotten older, I find that the light side powers are better. But anyway, you beat her, and she's like, "You're stronger than I am, even in my darkness." And you talk her down. You're like, yeah, "The Jedi Order will take you back. Just repent of your darkness. Let go of your anger and your hatred." And that is one thing that I do agree with the Jedi on, is it doesn't do you any good to dwell on your anger and your hatred and all that. Let that shit go. It's just hurting you. Use your positive emotions, and that's one of the things I disagree with the Jedi on, is the positive emotions, happiness, joy, love. Use those, but don't let it you know don't let them control you. Don't let love turn into jealousy, and all that. You're not here for a philosophy lecture, but you, in the course of the game, even just that one quest, you bring Juhani back to the light. She goes back to the temple, and she learns that she did not, in fact, kill her master. She injured her, but she's a Jedi master, and I'm pretty sure Juhani was using a training saber. So there's that. But we have that chance for that kind of redemptive arc in Ben Solo. And like I said, I haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet, but I feel like this whole trilogy should have followed Ben Solo from his training under Jedi Master Luke, his Uncle Luke Skywalker, to his fall to the dark side. Him glorying, and like I said, we don't need fucking Supreme Leader Snopes or whatever the fuck his name, Snoke. I keep wanting to call him Snope. But we don't need him because we have the spirit of fucking Darth Vader. You know, we don't need. We don't need like a Jedi ghost of Vader, because we've already seen that Jedi ghosts are only Jedi. That's kind of it's not a power that Dark Force users have access to. So we don't need we could have just followed Kylo Ren or Ben Solo to say Mustafar, and he's walking through Vader's fucking cavernous castle and seeing all these dark side artifacts, and he's corrupted from there, and fucking takes on the cowl and he tries to look like his grandfather, and meanwhile Luke is still at his new Jedi temple training the next batch of Jedi, which, I mean, and we could have Ren try to attack, and is soundly beaten by Jedi Master Skywalker. I would have been that. That's how the first movie, The Force Awakens, should have ended. The Force Awakens should have been Ben Solo's training and ultimate corruption. Is cut to him on Mustafar in learning about Granddaddy Vader. Comes back and tries to burn Luke's temple to the ground, gets his ass handed to him, and has to go and lick his wounds, and that's where he joins the Remnant. Because I always liked the Imperial Remnant as the bad guys rather than this First Order bullshit. Like, why call them the First Order? Call them the Imperial Remnant. Just don't beat around the bush, guys. And then the second movie could have been, the rebels fucking fighting back, you know. And maybe that's where we could have included Rey. Rey could have been a Luke's apprentice that he sent to the rebels to hold down the fort, and that's when we kill Han Solo, and she reports back to Luke saying how conflicted Ben is, and then the third movie is his redemption. That there, I just fixed your fucking trilogy, guy, because like I said, the best part of the movie, the best part of The Last Jedi, aside from Rose, was jaded as Master Skywalker. I love Mark Hamill. Okay, I follow the man on Twitter. He is awesome, and the way he plays this character that he's spent so much goddamn time with. I loved it. I loved every minute of jaded Skywalker. Um, and I felt he went out in a good way. I did not hate I didn't hate that. I liked that he put so much power into his final act of his final redemptive act kind of thing, that he became one with the Force. Framed in the twin sunrises of Ahch-To. Just as we see him in A New Hope, and it was very it was full circle, and I liked that. Would I have preferred not to see fucking Luke Skywalker die? Yeah, I would have. Fuck you. But this movie doesn't deserve the shit that it got. Like, I didn't hate it, despite me having rambled on about, how it could have been fixed for nearly 25 minutes now. I didn't hate the movie. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. That still goes to fucking Empire Strikes Back. When I was a kid, it was Return of the Jedi, but now that I've gotten older, I see Empire as the Star Wars equivalent of Last Crusade. But yeah, I didn't hate the movie. I felt it was unfocused. Like, they tried to cram so many different things in there, and I get it. They wanted to do something different, because The Force Awakens was nothing more than a complete retread of A New Hope. I was okay with that. I liked A New Hope. I liked fucking The Force Awakens. What The Force Awakens did for me, because I was so jaded after the prequel trilogies, what The Force Awakens did for me was basically give me a reason to like Star Wars again. It held the spirit of the old Star Wars movies, and I expect nothing less of gigantic nerd J.J. Abrams, who should have been at the helm for all three movies. And I feel like maybe that's the problem. Having a different writer director on The Last Jedi, rather than having Abrams do all three, it really suffered, because two different styles, and both directorial and writing styles. It's kind of like when two authors who have wildly different genres try to do a collaboration. you can tell that there's a disconnect between the two. Abrams and Rian Johnson. Rian. I'm not sure. I've never actually heard his name spoken. I've just read it. It could be Rian, it could be Ryan. Probably is Ryan, now that I think about it. He and J.J. Abrams are two different actors. They're two directors. They're two different writers, and it shows the difference between the Force Awakens, which is obviously J.J. Abrams fanboying for 2.5 hours, versus the Last Jedi, wherein it looked like a World War One movie set in a galaxy far, far away. But I don't really have anything else to say. I liked the movie. I felt it suffered from having a different writer and director, and I feel like the entire trilogy suffers from not focusing on the right character. And I understand you want new characters. Ben Solo more than fits the new characters thing, and gives us a reason to rope Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher back in to do the trilogy. We miss you, Carrie. But like, it could have been better, but it was not the flaming garbage heap that everybody gave it shit for. So I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today. So this is Brett from Writer's Nest. I'll catch you guys later.